Hi all, welcome back to more Unconditional Surrender, World War II in Europe. Um, this is the Mediterranean scenario. Mediterranean 1940 to 1942. How many turns does it last? Is it 30? I think. Right, haven't got it started yet. We just set things up, went through a bit of, no doubt, talked too much in the last video about it. But it's been a while since I've come back to this. Haven't really had much time to start recording. Been messing about with my other game now on the other table, Red vs Reverse. Solo game on the Second Boer War. So a bit different from what I'm used to. But yeah, it started out alright. So I thought I'd get up this morning and have another shot of this, get this moving at least. I'd like to switch between the two games, but sometimes you get more involved with one over the other. So I had a couple of shots at that one last night. So let's get started with this. Now I didn't have any comments. Now that got me thinking. Nobody talked about the fact, although the old gamer guy he mentioned some of the history of what happened down here regarding Syria and Iraq, I think. Because I was saying about what is the point in the British declaring war on Syria and Iraq, isn't it? Then there was some mention of something that I was watching regarding supply. So I don't know. Is it because I can get down to Kuwait 32? You know, because does this not link to 32? No, maybe it doesn't, right? Well, that does. The Arabian Sea does, and that joins to that. And that joins to... Does that not join to the Suez Canal? That's why maybe it doesn't. Why is that then? Western Indian Ocean. Aye, that's 31. Is that not joined to that? No. Oh, no, the Arabian Sea one is joined to 31. So 31, you could come down the Suez Canal into 31, which then takes you to there. Which, yeah, then would join up to 32, I suppose. But then takes you to there, then takes you there, then takes you all the way around. So, I still don't know. Could it be for the factory side of things to get a low supply state? Because could I be right in saying that maybe the only factory we've got down here is Cairo? No, Jerusalem's one as well. Because you can only take low supply for 2 units, can't you? And that would be an overseas factory that you were in control of, I think. So that would supply up to 4 units in low supply. I was just wondering if that was maybe the reason to try and go into Syria. I mean, they've got a port here, but I don't see how that improves things for us either. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Nobody's mentioned it. So, we'll see as the playthrough goes on. It's not something we can do yet anyway, is it? It's something that's got to happen later in the game. I'll come back to that. Yeah, I feel like I'm a wee bit rusty. Yeah, I've not sat down looking at this for a while. Okay, what was I going to say? Yeah, another comment. Yeah, a smart comment from, who was it? Oh, I can't remember the name. Pretty sure it's one that's got a name. Making fun of the fact that he thought the WDF was up helping out France. Well, kind of tongue-in-cheek comment. Yeah, and I said, well, we'll see how they go on down here. I might send them back up there, you know. Just because the training scenario, I dragged them up there. I think a few folk thought that was maybe wrong in doing that, but you know what, the Germans were still going to win that anyway. Sorry, spoilers, but anyway, I think that being a training scenario, I think you, to be honest, you probably need to play the whole game to get the chance of either faction winning. I mean, I think you play any of these scenarios, they're going to be slightly one-sided. I'm not sure about this one, to be honest. I dare say this one could go either way. I'm not sure how to go about this one. It all seems to me a whole scenario about supply and naval interceptions in the Med, and just I don't know how we're going to deal with that. Now we know that the Italians the Axis to win, need to take Alexandria and Cairo. That's all they need to do to win the game. And then reach the victory check phase. So if they are in control of them in a victory check phase, then they win. Now the other condition, the condition for the British to win, or the Western faction, should I say, was right. I think I better get it on my tablet. Still haven't printed out the rules yet. Still kind of waiting to see if the designer might come out with a new revision of these 11 rules before I do. Right, so the wording again is the Western faction wins if, in any victory phase, the Axis faction controls cities only in Italy, Rhodes, Sardinia and or Sicily. So basically pushing them out of North Africa, isn't it? So like right now they control, there's Sicily, so we don't care about them controlling cities in Sicily or Italy, clearly. And the other areas are Rhodes and Sardinia. Where are they about? There's Sardinia. So these are ones that we don't care about, and Rhodes is Greece way, isn't it? No, Rhodes is there. Oh, that's Italian as well. So, yeah. We basically just need to push them out of North Africa. Yeah, so Tobruk, we need to take Tobruk, which is a tough nut because that's a fort. And then we need to push them out of Algeria, and then also Tripoli. And then that's where that, assuming, well, it does look like they can go, they can cross, well, can they cross into French North Africa? Maybe they can't. I know that's not in play, is it? It excludes the French North Africa campaign. The only countries that have been or can be activated are Germany, Iraq, Italy, Syria, and the UK. So yeah, I would that makes me think I cannot move into French North Africa then. So we've got they're in 3 cities at the moment that we need to push them out of. The British need to push them out of. Right, okay. And yeah, one glitch that I made a comment on. I forgot, easy to miss this when you're, new to the game, I suppose. It does say that this starts with 4 sorties, this first RAF. It does say it in the setup, the order of battle, but it's away over at the side that shows you the number 4. And it's just as well, I was watching a little bit of video footage, and there is a bit of footage of Sal and, sorry, I forget the other guy's name, the guy that runs the channel, them playing a bit of the Mediterranean scenario. So obviously I watched through that to try and get the gist of how things work. So that starts with that. So we know what our objectives are, but they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough. Let's just kick it off then, and because that little bit of the scenario that the designer shows is only basically the first turn or 2. I think maybe they go into the second turn. I'm not even sure they do actually. I think it's just all taken up with the first turn and explaining all things and whatever. Okay, so you will need to keep these scenario instructions in front of you, Grant. So I'll just keep my tablet there. Right, let's kick things off. So, weather phase. Well, we're in a want to say we're okay with the weather, aren't we? Where is it we're in? Way at the top of the map. July of 1940, is it? Yeah. So that's where we're starting, July 1940. I'm not going to go way up there. Unless I have to. That's the one good thing. It's all down the bottom here, but that's the reason I had to push the map up further over. Overhang the table as well. I've managed to avoid any accident, although there was a little bit of a nudge I had on it last night, but it didn't do any damage, so we're all good. So July 1940, and if we check the weather, he's somebody had asked about if he could do this in 4 pages rather than the 2, because I think, like me, it's a little struggle to see this. The text has been reduced, and he just released a version of that. So you're going to get, rather this on 2 pages, you're going to get it on 4 pages, like it is, and it comes as a play aid. And remember, the reason I'm using this is because it's got the up-to-date weather rules. I don't have that in my one. And there's a couple other bits that are in blue that were changed or clarified or add, whatever you want to call it. So you can see there in July to September, it's fair throughout. And remember, a lot of our stuff is going to be in the, a lot of the stuff is going to be in the desert zone. Now that's a zone that's not shown there because it's always fair. However, certain naval units are going to be clashing in the sea outside of the desert zone. And I'll need to double check how that works. Because my guess is if you're in the sea zone, to be honest, you could be in either zone, couldn't you? Well, I'll work out how that goes right. Ah dear. Right. Give me a second. Right, so anyway, no need to roll for the weather in the first 3 months of this scenario. It's going to be fair throughout. So then declare war phase. Well, we can't. No, it's ignored, isn't it? Apart from that option for the Western faction. Where am I? Move this. What have I done? Here we are. No declare war or diplomacy phase. Exception starting with April 41 or later, the Western faction may declare war in Iraq and or Syria. Right, so that's not the case as of yet, so we skip by declare war. So economy. So, and for the economy, remember, right, the Germans don't track national will and they don't track their economy. They've got an unlimited supply. But however, the British do track it and the Italians track theirs. So that's what we're looking at. So Italians, well, the Germans, because the Germans have got unlimited, and there's a rule somewhere that says, where is it? Transfer 9.1.3. Again, I'm just sticking with my rule book. I do have the tablet open there, but I'm just going to stick with my rule book unless I feel like it's something that might have been drastically changed. After determining, this is 9.1.3 and my rule book's on page 30, transfer production points. After determining the production points for all its factions, countries, a phasing Germany, UK, USA and USR may transfer its production points to any number of its factions, active countries. Exception, the UK and USA cannot transfer points to each other. That is handled via the Lend-Lease to the UK rule. A country may receive a maximum of 1 production point per economy phase. For each transfer, decrease and increase each the respective country's production points accordingly. Since the USA has no production points to track, just increase the other country's value by 1. And that's the situation we're in with the Germans right now, because they're said to have unlimited production points at the moment. So we don't need to track the reduction of 1 for them. So the Italians are going to get, they've got 6 factories and they do get a double up for that. So they get 12 production. However, the Germans are going to transfer an extra 1 across to them. So we're going to start with 13. That's that. And then the British, they're not going to get any of that nonsense, although they do have the Lend-Lease markers on the map, etc. And they're up against it in the strategic warfare in this scenario. And that's what's going to kind of get them struggling a bit. So the factory count is 9. However, they do have 1 factory loss, so that knocks it down to 8, which doubles up to 16. So they start with 16. Okay, that's that sorted. Alright, so on to strategic warfare. Now, remember, the Axis are getting a... And the strategic warfare does not affect the Germans. It's just assumed that if there is a negative result to them, it affects them over in the east in their fight against the Soviet Union. However, they are considered to have an Axis port in Sea Zone 7. That's the control with Brest, which I did mark with a control marker there, just as a reminder. And then, before I go back down there, you can maybe just see it way up here. I've got an air unit up there just to show that it is in Sea Zone 3, is it? 3 or 4. It's in 3 or 4. I'm pretty sure it's in 3. So they are getting that one as well. So they're actually getting a +3 to this modifier to start with. Now the other thing that they have, the Western faction have nothing to put into this, but the other thing that the Axis do have is submarines. However, there is another use for the submarines, and that is it can be used in naval warfare. Let me just find it. Oh, that was handy. I just flipped to the page there. Right. It's a little different how I'm looking at things here. We've got things angled a bit and whatever. Let's see if we can find... Again, this is just in the main rule book. And there we go up there. It's up on the other bit, I think it says. So if we use it for strategic combat, the enemy modified combat result is divided by 2, round up. For air naval combat, the enemy faction applies a -2 DRM. So I don't know what the best thing to do here is. The fact that the Axis have a +3 already, I feel like I should maybe keep hold of the submarines. Because you can't, the results that you're going to get in strategic warfare, the likely result is going to be DR, DD or DE, which is going to decrease the German factory loss. Remember, we're not concerned with that. It's going to increase the respected Allied factory loss marker by 1. So it's going to increase the British factory loss marker by 1. That's a likely result. I think with a +3 or die roll, I'm pretty sure these are probably unlikely to reach. Maybe. I suppose if you looked at it, you would be able to work it out. But so it's not that we can have them losing 2 factories this turn by like really piling it on. So, and then even if we did, I think this is a worst case scenario for the Axis, and that only means that nothing happens, nothing changes. So I feel like we should maybe keep our submarines and possibly use it as a -2. On saying that, if I use the submarines here, it's making this far more likely a result, probably almost guaranteed result, I would think. And then we get to roll and put it back on the turn track, and you might get lucky and roll a 1 and it comes back next turn. Whereas if I hold on to it, I might find that I maybe not even use it this turn. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to take a chance and keep hold of it, and hopefully we still get the result that we need from an Axis point of view with the DR, DD and DE, and maybe keep this for if Force H starts to make a move, maybe try and affect that and maybe get an extra sortie put on it or something. But I really probably want to use it this turn so that I can then cycle it back as quick as I can, Okay, so I won't use the submarines then. Whether that's right or wrong, somebody may tell me. So there's a +3 to the Axis for this roll. And like I said, they need DR, DE or DR, DD, or DE result. Where's my tray? There it is. Right, so with a +3, right, hang on, what we're doing, yeah. So with a +3, where's all my other dice? Over here. Yeah, I still never ended up with getting any extra dice. Yeah, one of the comments that Salad made was about using the, where are the little markers? Let's see if I can see what he was meaning there. Yeah, I think I got the gist of what he was meaning. It was like, that's the defender. There we go. So right now we've got the defender and the attacker here. Oops. I hope if I could show them on camera. So right now, and you know, I said this top bit, there was space to put the marker in there, which was nice, but down this side there wasn't. But he suggested, I think that's what his suggestion was, right now what we're getting a +3. So we put that there. I would probably not want to cover the 3 just to show it was a 3. However, let's just say that the defenders had a +1, then we could put that there, like that. So that shows it, you know. Let's try that, see how I feel about it. I quite like the dice getting placed, but because you're ending up sometimes with minuses and pluses, I mean, okay, it's simple for me this turn. I just put this +3 dice, and I've had some more of them. And the defenders aren't getting a modifier at all, so I'll lay that off to the side somewhere. I get the feeling I'll probably still stick with the dice, to be honest. It's just the wee markers, I think, are just a bit. But yeah, I see what he's saying. It could all work, and it's not probably a huge big deal. I'm probably making more of it than I need to. Right. So anyway, so the attackers are getting a +3 to this, and the attackers, I remember, they're the grey dice. Axis dice is grey. The Allied dice is the Western dice is blue. So here we go. Right, well that's definitely going to be the result. So we did not waste the submarine, because that would have been a waste of submarines, because we've got a 9 to a 3, which is going to be, put them up there for later use, I think. A 9 to a 3 is going to be a DD result, and rather than go back down there, it's the result that the Axis wanted, which increases the Allied factory loss marker by 1. Okay. So factory loss for the UK goes up by 1 up to 2, so it means next turn they're going to have 2 less production. They're going to be down to 14 instead of 16. So, but that's the challenge for them. There's not a lot they can do about it until the apart from pray for a good die roll, until the USA get involved, which I want to say is quite a bit further on as well, isn't it? And then they bring along a +2 or +3 for the Western faction, I think, in that battle, the strategic combat. Okay, moving on. That was strategic warfare. Strategic movement. Well, hang on. Could there be any of that involved? I'm still not awfully sure what I'm going to do. Oh, one thing I did notice when doing some homework research, it was commented by somebody, rightfully, that this unit in Tobruk is a full strength unit. So, and my thoughts were initially about replacing it with that, because I need to try and go and attack Alexandria and Cairo, so I'd rather do that with a full strength unit than a reduced. But like what was pointed out was, when a fort gets attacked, and if you get a DR result, then you have an option of reducing the unit rather than retreating it. So you could reduce this full strength unit down to its 1-step side. Okay, then it's reduced, which loses some benefits. However, it stays in the fort, and you might want to be doing that. However, you can't do that if you've got just a garrison unit, you know. because that just eliminates it. So you're clearly going to retreat it. Right, sorry, I was on pause there for a bit. So what was I talking about? Talking about the fort. Oh yeah, one other thing. One of the last comments Salad made on the previous playthrough was that I could have retreated a French unit into a hex that had a fort. Obviously not moving him into the fort, because you can't do that. He was going to be able to retreat into the hex that had a fort, because there was no other French unit in there. However, I pointed out to him that there was a German unit exerting zone of control into that hex. However, he then pointed out to me that a fort is the same as a friendly city, and the fact that you can retreat into it regardless of enemy zone of control. I didn't know that one, so glad he brought it to my attention. In fact, I'm going to try and see if I can find it in the rulebook. Yeah, and it's quite clear here, page 17 of my rulebook. 5.3.5.1, retreat prohibitions. A unit cannot retreat into a hex containing an enemy zone of control unless it contains a friendly city or fort, and the unit is also put in a 1 hex gap between it and the attacker, which it would have been doing there at the time. I want to say that I talked about it and maybe didn't make that attack. I also want to say that there was another move I could have made by moving a German unit into the fort to stop that from happening. And then I also want to sort of just add the fact that I could have moved a unit at that time, just strolled into Cherbourg to get the last point that was required in the actual previous part of the video, I think. There was no any danger, but he was clearly just wanting to remind me of that the unit could have made that retreat. So I'm glad it's been brought to my attention. And I guess that just came to mind because we're looking at the fort down here. So are we going to, is there any need for strategic movement? Well, I'm not awful sure now if I'm going to move this guy out, but if we are going to make an attack on Alexandria and Cairo, we're not going to be able to do it with these garrison units. Now, I wonder if the intention, the thing to do here is to wait on the German unit arriving, which comes in January 1941. I mean, it's not an armoured unit, it's just the Africa Corps, isn't it? I think it was, is that Rommel and his troops? But it's not armoured. They get nothing else to help either. They don't get the Luftwaffe unit till the end of 1941 in December. Well, actually, sorry, they get the tanks. Now, here's the thing. Oh no, yeah, that tanks must be usable on Africa. Yeah, because they've not got tanks. That's why they get the tanks marker, so they can use the tanks marker on the Africa Corps. But I mean, it's a mobilised infantry unit, so it doesn't get. However, remember it is German, so it gets that +2 there. It's got the extra 2 movement. But is that the thing? Is that the way to do this? Is just to hang on until January? And I mean, what are the British going to do? Are the British going to just hang about and wait? Because they've got to knock them out of Africa, and the Italians have got to take the 2 cities. Yes. I don't know. I think we possibly should go along and try and do something as the Italians, but I don't know. I know most of it's about what happens in the war here. I mean, the Italians do have an air unit as well, but getting it into position, and then of course the other problem is once it's across here, we've then got to supply it back across to Sicily or Italy, which is a worry in itself. But you could actually rebase that, couldn't you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's not going right across there, so it's going to have to come across to now 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think it can rebase as long as it ends up on a transport line, I think. So it could rebase to there, but then you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 along to there. That's like gathered 2 sorties already, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, actually, that does support the. That does support that. I'm not sure. The stuff that I seen, the Italian air unit was trying to mess about with the British stuff in the water. I was trying to intercept that, its movement and supply traces. But I mean, it would clearly help if it did that. But then it's away along here needing supply, like we said. And yeah, we're going to struggle for that. So should we move anything? I don't think we need to strategically move anything. I think if I'm going to do anything this turn, whether I get involved with that air unit. Oh, the other thing I'm definitely going to do is bring this guy across to Benghazi. That's what I think the intention is. Right, let's skip strategic movement. Let's not bother about that. And then for the British, yeah, here's the thing. The British could strategically move, couldn't they? But do they not want to just sit back here in Alexandria and just hold there? Or if the Italians don't come, they maybe don't want to strategically move across. They're just going to move across and maybe have an attack on the fort. But obviously the Italians are going to get to decide first if they're going to move. I mean, we could strategically move that to there. But I'm not so sure that's that helpful. So I don't think they'll take a strategic move either. So now into operations then. So, well, I think this is a definite getting this across the water and Benghazi. So, right, how's it we go about that again, Grant? You should be able to do that without messing about. So we remember the second convoy and second fleet. They're all in this hex. I've just spread them out to make it so we can see everything. So it's going to cost me one now. Hang on, where are the British? Can the British intercept this? There's nothing. Malta's just got the fort and thing. Force H is away along Gibraltar. So I suppose our closer concerns are. That's just the light coming in the window there. Move across a bit. Is what's along here. Now they can. Well, they could actually interfere with us, couldn't they? Because they're all in Alexandria. So 2 sea zones is 1, 2. So they could reach sea zone 24. Hold on, no, Grant. Yeah, no, they could. So unless, can that come to sea zone 22? Or is it just 24? It's just 24, isn't it? Taranto and Brindisi look like they're both in 24. Because that wee dotted line there suggests that I think that's part of. So, yeah, the crossing for them into Benghazi is going to be through sea zone 24. Yeah. Right, sorry about that, phone call. Actually, I might just be going to step back there a bit because I realise we've got another. That was another thing. I watched the video footage that I've watched in this Mediterranean scenario. This all comes down to Africa. So me talking about this British home defence, I'm assuming it doesn't apply. I mean, I'm assuming we've got to think that there is a unit in London still, a garrison. What is it? The home unit, isn't it, or something like that? And that there's an air unit in Britain as well that's just not shown. Because there's no mention of we should be ignoring the home defence rule. And it's just the fact that we're moving that air unit away. I mean, there's no ground unit at all there, so I just assume that we're just not concerned with that. Now, do the Italians have some issue with home defence as well, though? Each country except must keep at least one of its ground units within 3 hexes or anywhere within its country's mainland area. So just one of its ground units, and it doesn't say a field ground unit. Okay, so that's fine, I think. So for the Italians, all we need really is to leave this. This is in Rome, so just to leave that in Rome. But I've just realised we do have this in Genoa. So maybe I should try and bring that across as well. See, the thing is, I could... Oh, no, we can't. I don't think we can... Well, actually, we can. I think I could rebase this fleet and convoy to Genoa, although that's going to gather them both authority, and then we could activate the first Italian and naval transport it back across the trip. Well, now you're going to have to move. You have to move that guy out of Tripoli if you're going to do that. Okay. So yeah, and the reason I wanted to step back to maybe strategic movement is because I could strategically move this down to Taranto here or Naples. But what does that really give me? Yeah, it'd be oh, hang on. What about Palermo? Can I do it in Palermo? Palermo has port C-zone 19 and 21. Hex C-zone 19, 21 and 22. Why does it say hex? Does that mean it can only move? That means C-zone 22 is not a port entrance for it. I think it does. Yeah, I think from Palermo, if I had a naval unit, I would have to go out into C-zone 19 before into 22. I don't think I could directly go into 22. I think that's what that's meaning. Or I could go out into 19 or 21, but my whole point was to try and avoid them, because Force H is, I don't know. Thing is, by the time it's probably going to come along, and it's maybe going to head for Malta, and yeah, I don't know. I suppose I was just trying to avoid the... You know what? I'm going to strategically move this unit, right? Where's the strategic move marker? I'm going to move him from Genoa down to Taranto, down here. And then he's set there, ready to... Oh, hold on. See, I can't go into Catania because that's there. But I could move that out of there. So why don't I strategically move? I don't need to end in a city or anything, do I, with a strategic move? No, I just need to be not an enemy zone of control, etc. Strategic movement, page 9. Apologies now. Yeah, it just needs to end in a hex with a continuous transport line, as long as it's not breaking the certain zone of control issues. So yeah, I think that's okay. So what I might actually do is put it in Graniti, and this I believe is just marked. It's not a city, it's just marked. I believe this is where the designer's family come from. I seem to remember reading something about that. So why don't we just strategically move it right down there? And that's connected by the transport line across that strait anyway. And that way, problem is, that means he's not at the moment sitting in a port. Whereas he would be sitting in the port up there. You know what I'm better doing actually, putting him into Palermo. And then that way at least he's in a port that I could maybe do something with. If I don't and want to move this out of there, I can move that into there and then move that down to there in the next turn. That makes more sense, I think. Right, so just backtracking a little bit there to strategically move that down to there then. Because the Italians, they're going to need, well, I say they're going to need these units across here, but they're going to have to supply them as well, which is, I mean, the garrison units are probably going to just take, now where can they get a low supply from? That's not a factory, that is, so Tripoli is, and Tobruk is not. Ew. So that's a slight problem for them, because they can only supply 2 units, low supply out of Tripoli. Unless, of course, they go and take... No, actually, Alexandria is not the... what is it? What am I looking for? Factory. It's Cairo's the factory. So, yeah, problem there. So, well, just need to trace the supply across the water and see how it goes. Right, okay, we've done that. So let's activate this Italian 8th Infantry and Brindisi. So that's going to be 1 point. Where are we? So it takes it down to 12. So we're going to activate that. And then we're going to activate the convoy as well. So I'll put him on top now. I mean, he was in the hex, remember? Now, I think we need to take this fleet, though, as well. Which we probably want to have them together anyway. Yeah, let's not muck about. We're taking the fleet as well. So these are all activated, right? And then we're going to carry out a naval transport. And we're going to move from Brindisi into Sea Zone 24. Right? And then now we've got to give time for the Western faction to react if they want to try and intercept that. And they can intercept it with... not with... Oh, that's a convoy. They're convoys. They've only got one fleet. The one fleet here, actually. And they've no air unit. But this is in Alexandria. So this could intercept. It can move 2 sea zones to intercept. It doesn't actually move, but it's got the range. So it's 1, 2. So it can do that. So does it want to try and intercept that? Now the thing is, if it intercepts successfully, I want to say that then we have, it means that our naval transport has failed, but we have to then land in a port nearest to where the sea zone that we're in. So that could be back to Brindisi, we could go back there, or probably Taranto. It could also be, no, that's British. And the other port that it could be is Benghazi, which is where we're heading. So even if they successfully intercept us, the only thing could be is that they might be able to incur an extra sortie by doing the interception. So, now is that right then, Grant? What you're all saying there? Air naval. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, there's just a bit there that I'm talking about. So, interdiction. So if the interdiction failed, if the interdiction is successful, based on what was interdicted, apply the result below. So if they succeed, then, and we're doing a naval movement or we're doing a naval transport. It says the naval unit's activation ends. It and any naval escort are moved to nearest friendly port based on movement point costs and ignoring any remaining movement allowance. So it would automatically succeed anyway. It would succeed at what we're trying to achieve. So I don't know if this is where the med fleet... Cause I know they're all going to incur lots of sorties, so I'm kind of thinking that they should maybe just let this happen and allow it to go across. If they try and intercept, they could maybe knock an extra sortie onto the fleet, but they're going to incur a sortie themselves by doing it. And I suppose there's a slim risk that the Biro could go the other way and ends up in the med fleet and incur 2 sorties and they only get the 1. So I think we'll let this go, this one, for now. So the British are not going to intercept. So we then carry on and we move into Benghazi. So I will put the fleet and convoy like that, side by side. So this ends up in Benghazi. Its move is complete. I think that's all. It can't carry on with any movement, can it? No. And we need some sortie markers. Right, I've obviously put all them away. I'm going to need lots of them. So and then because we didn't intercept or anything like that, that just cost them one sortie each to do what they've done. So the convoy for the actual transport, and then the fleet for the escort across the water, incur one sortie each. Okay. Next. Well, next is about this, I suppose. I think this is the only other sort of thing that we might be wanting to think about. You've got... Yeah. I don't know, I think maybe just leave these here. I still don't know what to do about this situation. I feel like I want to get this guy across. I wonder. No. You want to keep 2 of the garrisons across here, but we've got 3 garrisons across here. That's a problem. I just feel like we don't really want 3. Well, we could just let 1 die. I think you can let 1 die, can't you? If it goes into a no supply status, you can just eliminate it, and then it'll come back, and then you can just place it over in Italy. Yeah, I think we'll just have to do that when it comes to it. So, yeah, is there any point? Well, let's get this guy. Let's decide what we're doing with this guy. Are we going to go? Well, no. That was the other thing. Was it possible to bring in the air unit across? Wasn't it? I don't know if that's nuts or not. Well, actually, hold on. I get the feeling we can't reach this anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can't move from there to there. So 6, 7. Yeah, he's just got 8 movement, and then it's going to be like you're attacking into the city across the river as well, Grant. Yeah, that's a tough ask, isn't it? Not impossible if you had the air unit down there though. Oh, let's move this. Let's move this. So I'm going to activate the 10th then. I'm just going to knock 1 more production point down. Oh yeah, another reason why we need that convoy there, because we need trade supply across the water. Right, okay. So, I don't know if I should be doing this or not. So it feels like a little bit of a stalemate here, doesn't it? You're like, I don't know, once I switch over to the British, I'm going to be thinking the same thing. Do I want to go and try and attack this fort? I think it seems more sensible for them to try and maybe not attack it the first turn, because remember, attacking a fort, you've got to do an assault. But they can, I think, what terrain is that? That there. It's not the same as that one. Well, is it not just all rough? No, it could be as... It's no swamp, is it? I don't know what that is. Rough desert? Ah, it's rough desert. It is rough desert. Right, got it. And you can see these ones that are lighter though are prohibited. But you can see it is possible for the British to get a unit here, here, and here, and make an assault. And then obviously having the unit here as well would mean this is no retreat. However, having a unit adjacent would stop it from being isolated, which is a good thing. So I think the British would work on that. Remember, when I say 3 units, they're going to have to rely on garrison units being 2 of the units, because they've only got the Western Desert Force. That's all they've got in this. Did they get something else? Oh, that was almost the camera right away. I don't think I've done that before. They get the upgrade. Yeah, I mean, they only get the upgrade, and that's away in September of 42. So, yeah. I suppose it's... What do you do here? I think... Well, the thing is, Grant, if you're bringing these Italian units across, then surely that means you've got to be more aggressive. You know, you're talking about bringing that other full-strength unit across, then surely you should be going for... Yeah, let's just do it. Right, so, in fact, I think I spent the point to activate, didn't I? I'm down to 11. Yeah, because I only activated 1. So let's just do it. So he's going to come out the fort and move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's probably better staying in that rough hex just now. So he's going to end his activation there. I think I'm going to do the air thing. I don't know. Thing is, they're going to bring that RAF down, aren't they? But it's going to be pretty beat up by the time it gets there, to be honest. Sortie wise, it starts with 4 sorties, so to get down there, in fact, is it not going to add an R2? I don't think it's going to make it down there in the one move. So right, you need to keep production points back though. So, but do we want to leave the fort empty like that? Is that not silly? I don't know. I think it needs to be assaulted, doesn't it? Well, actually, the British do have a surprise attack marker. So I think that suggests that they could attack this. And the fact that it's not occupied by a unit is probably not a good idea, Grant. 4, 5, 6, 7. No, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this guy could come on and go into there. Yeah, let's do that. Let's activate this 4th in El Alguia for 1 point. That's him down to 10. And move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the rough, 6, 7, and then 8 into the fort. I'm just going to leave him that way up, so. Okay, and I think I'll just leave that guy there adjacent so that he's got a friendly beside him. And then we'll work on bringing the other stuff along. So, if you're going to do that, you're going to do the air thing. Let's do it. Let's just, I don't know what I'm doing, so. So we've got the Italian air here. And we want to rebase that, and it can rebase by moving 10 hexes, I think. It's got to end on a transport line. Rebase. Let me just remind myself. I'll be under air rebase, I think. Air rebase, page 18. Phasing your unit can activate to move. This move cannot be intercepted when the movement is done. The unit's activation ends. Sorties when their unit's activation ends. Add 1 sortie Yeah, but it's going to take it 2 to get to where I want it to go. And then that's an extra unit to supply, Grant. Well, let's find out what happens. Right, so I'm going to rebase him. And basically I want to get him to within range of Alexandria, I think. So I think I can do that by going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I can reach here. And then go another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that works. So I'm going to put him there, and that's 2. I mean, he goes down to here, earns 1 sortie, and then he goes right along to there and earns a 2nd sortie. So yeah. So he's got 2 sorties on him. Right, I forgot I need to go and do something. Give me a short break. Right, that's me back. So yeah, well, yeah, let's see what happens. Air units flying down to support an attack on Alexandria. Yeah, we shall see. Right, I think that's all the movement I'm going to make. I don't believe I can move this unit across the water even if I wanted to. Although, does that count? Is Sicily part of mainland Italy? No, maybe not. It's a different. Well, actually, that would be within 3 of mainland Italy anyway, isn't it? So that's holding the defence anyway. Problem is, I don't think you want to bring garrison units across. This is going to be more stuff to try and supply, and obviously they will not full strength. Yeah, and then once we do get the Africa Corps, we're going to have to support that. So, right, I think that's going to be all the movement. So I'm just going to tilt these back. Now we need to work on our supply then. So, so if we trace supply through this convoy that's in Benghazi, then the British could try and intercept that trace because we're having to go through C-Zone 24. However, if we use the convoy and Tripoli, going through C-Zone 22 and just tracing into Catania there, nothing at the moment could intercept that trace. So, yeah, you're going to use up a bunch of sorties, aren't you? Okay, well, I think we're going to have to do it anyway. So, we're going to trace for the 10th Battalion Infantry along the transport line right the way along to Benghazi, Tripoli, sorry. And then use the convoy to trace across into Catania. And nothing can intercept that, like I say, the British are out, that's 3 C-zones away. So that supplies the 10th. Now we don't need to be using the fleet there to escort this, so we won't, because there's no chance of interception. So that applies 1 sortie to that. Now, then we also want to supply this air unit, because you can't take the sorties off if you don't. So we're tracing it along the. We're tracing it along the same way. That's going to incur another sortie. It's up to 2. And then what else have we got? We've got the. Well, hang on, before the garrisons get talked about, we've got this guy here that we brought across. Right, so I think I'm going to use... So what happens if it's a supply line trace that was interdicted? It says it fails, the convoy and any escort activation ends. The supply state of the unit tracing supply is reduced by 1 level. Supply state of the unit tracing supply is reduced by 1 level from its last turn supply state. No more than 1 supply state reduction per turn. Yeah, but I can try it more than once, can't I? Yeah, because their activation ends. However, we can activate them again to try and trace supply again. Pretty sure that's okay. So what I mean is, if we do try and trace this and it fails, if they do interdict, we gain the sorties that are involved, and then we could try it again. So is it safer going through? No, I'm gonna try it with the 8th Infantry, and we're going to use this. So we're going to trace the supply trace up through to, yeah, because we'll have to come into C-Zone 24, and that's where the British can interdict or intercept. What is it? Interception, that's the automatic part of it, but the interdiction bit, you need to see how that works. That's based on a die roll. So you're gonna go that way, Grant. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna do that. And I think this time the British are going to intercept then with the Med fleet. Okay, so we're going to have, now it's got its escort with it, because if it didn't have the escort, then it'd be fighting against just the convoy, and there's an extra -2, I think, for that, or an extra +2 for them or something. So we don't want that. So we are tracing a supply source for this unit across the water, and the Med fleet are going to intercept. Right, okay. Just said that twice, Grant, I think. So air naval combat. Unfortunately, this is on the other side of the page. I suppose you could open it right up. I've got the rule book there though, but we could open it right up. Oh, great. Right, that's a dice away. And we'll write a glary bit as well. Right. So that's not awful what I can do about that. Yeah, I could jump across to there. That's fine. Right. I'll try and keep this open like that then, because there's going to be a lot of looking at this side of things. It's not just this part, it's down this as well. So there's the modifiers, because we've got an air naval combat because of the supply trace. So modifiers are, yeah, right away, +2 for a UK naval unit. And yeah, and this is where it's tough. So they get a +2 for that. We don't get anything. Oh yeah, and we've got a -1 sortie on us already to start with. Oh dear. Should I be doing it this way then? No, I think I've got to try. Because, to be honest, the unit in the Tobruk Fort I want to be tracing supplies with. Well, I can maybe get that right along to Tripoli. Okay, so they got +2 for being a UK naval unit. And you can see the carrier one as well. They're not a carrier, but Force H, which is in Gibraltar, which is here, I may not focus in, but that is a carrier. So that, when that comes into play, that's even worse for us. That's why we kind of want, but it's expensive to get the sorties off that. And remember, the British are getting a factory knocked away pretty much. Well, maybe not guaranteed every turn, but yeah, nothing. You can see there's a -2 there if it was a convoy unit. So if it was, if it doesn't, well, actually, hang on. If you've got an escort, if the escort fails, Escort failed. Intercepting unit may attack again if it has less than 6 sorties. Right, I'm not sure about that, how that works then. Let's just go through it and roll the dice and we'll check the steps here. So it's a +2 for them, and they've no sorties on them. There's no events. Well, this is actually, this is where we could use the submarines, can't it? Yeah, maybe this is the time to use this. Although Force H is probably going to come across Grant. But this is maybe more important to us. But I think we will. I think we'll use the submarines. So that gives a -2 in naval. So their +2 is getting just wiped out with this -2, okay? So then the only downside to us is we're getting a -1 for, because we've got 1 sortie on us. And it's not poor weather. You can see that poor weather has a big effect there though. So okay, so we're going to use the submarines. I'll just lay that aside for now. So we are going to be on just a -1. So we are the... It was a plus dice that fell off there. We are not the attacker. The British are the attacker, so they've got no modifiers. We have... I'm saying we again. Is the Axis? That's terrible, Grant. Terrible! So the Axis have a -1. No, hold on. Yeah, that's right. We took the -2 off of them. They got a +2 for being UK. They get nothing else. And then we play the submarines for a -2 to them. So that takes them down to a 0. And we're still at -1 for the sortie. Yeah, I think that's right. That's right. So it's the blue dice that are the attacker here, remember? Here we go. Okay, a 2 and a 3. That's going to balance out to be 2 and 2, isn't it? So it's 2, and then 3 -1 is 2. So that's going to be a diamond result, which is what the Italians wanted. So let's just shimmy along here and see. So, diamond result, attacker and defender each add 1 sortie. I'll come across and do that in a second. And then, but the effect, we move down here, the effect, if the combat was an airstrike, no. If the combat was due to both sides committing an air unit, no. If the combat was against a unit providing escort, see escort below. So that was the case. So even when we were doing the supply trace, this escort bit still kicks into it, I believe. Oh, hang on though. It says, if the combat was against a unit performing an amphibious invasion, bombing run, naval movement, or supply line trace, see interdiction below. Let's see escort below. Right. I might need to have a wee glance at the rules on this, but I think we can just skip by this for now though, because I'm at an hour and 8 minutes now. I thought I was going to be able to do the British turn, but yeah, the Western fascist turn, but maybe just skip that till later now. So I'm not sure if I should be moving to check escort here or interdiction, because if we were doing an escort, checking for an escort here, the escort would be the diamond. The escort's successful. The intercepting unit's activation ends. I mean, the results are the same here, but my concern is that if the escort had failed, then the unit then tries to attack the actual convoy to stop its supply. Or do we just move straight to this and look at the supply line trace? I don't mean, if we were moving a unit across the water, if we were doing naval transport here, the attack would be against the escort first, then the attack would be against the convoy, to see what happened. And that's the whole point of bringing it. So I'm not sure if I would have thought the same thing happened regarding the supply trace, that you check the escort part first. If it succeeds, that's fine. You move on. If it fails, however, I think then they attack the convoy, even though it's just a supply trace you're doing. And then if that fails, then that stops the supply trace and it tracks, and that's that. Or if it succeeds, if it's okay, it's fine. Anyway, both of these results would be either the escort being successful and the intercepting unit's activation ends, or the interdiction had failed, the intercepting unit's activation ends. So that's all good. So our supply works. Right, and just while we're there, we're rolling the submarines marker. 3. Okay, so it goes 3 turns ahead on the track. I'll just stretch it and do that. August, September, so it's going to come back in October. Not too bad. Could have been better, could have been worse, I suppose. Okay. Right, so coming back here. So each unit receives attacker and defender each add 1 sortie. See, again here I'm wondering, the attacker was the med fleet, so that's straightforward to me. That's good enough. So we get 1 sortie for the med fleet. Right. Now, I want to say that the defender was the second fleet, Italian fleet. So he incurs 1 sortie as well. And I don't think at this moment the convoy receives a sortie, because he wasn't really the defender. But I could have that wrong, and he could incur the sortie now. He's still going to incur a sortie anyway, but I'm going to say that he doesn't receive it there, and hopefully somebody will straighten me out with that one. And then the interdiction had failed, or the escort was successful. Again, so hopefully somebody might straighten me out on that one. So it's all good. So the supply trace is fine across to Brindisi. And with that in place, because the convoy took that supply trace and wasn't involved in a combat, I don't think he then would incur 1 sortie. Either way, he's going to incur a sortie, but yeah, somebody could tell me the exact way that works. And then this guy is now in supply. It's all good. Right, now, well, now you've got the 4. This is the one that you want to try and... So you've got the guy in the 4, and you've got this guy here, and you've got this guy here. Right, but we also are an hour and 12 minutes. Well, can you not just... I'm sort of happy enough to put this guy in low supply, I think. Just trace through to Tripoli port. And also this guy, I think. I don't want the guy in the fort going that way. Right. I think what I'm going to do is the guy in the fort, I'm going to trace him down to Tripoli, but then use that convoy to cross in a supply trace. So that he cannot be intercepted, remember. But he does incur a sortie. We don't need to use the fleet in this case. So all is good. He's up to 3. That's guy in the fort supplied. So the other 2 garrisons, I think I'm going to just trace their supply to Tripoli. They're allowed to put 2 of them through there, which means that they're going to end up in low supply. This could be crazy. This could be stupid stuff. I maybe should be using my stuff to go across. I don't know. So they can't receive replacements, which isn't an issue. That's why you don't want that in your air units. And that guy there, I mean, my guess is he's still a friendly unit adjacent to this, so I think he's doing what I need him to do. So we'll go with that. So that's everybody checked for supply. Well, that's all the ground and the air units checked for supply. Naval units. So convoys never need to trace supply for themselves. So this is fine, and this is fine. And the fleets, they can trace supply. They can trace through a convoy if they want. However, they can trace supply themselves. However, they won't. The actual supply trace does not incur a sortie unless, however, they are attacked. So this one's straightforward. This fleet can just trace across into Catania and not have the option of being intercepted. So he's fine. This fleet, however, here is in, was it Benghazi? Yeah. He's in Benghazi, so his... Well, hang on here. Can't he trace across... Yeah, I think he can trace across the land and then trace out to sea, can't he? Ooh. I think. Because if he traces out and goes up here, there's a chance of interception again. And the British might do that to incur more sorties on the fleet. However, I think if he just traces right across the land supply line to Tripoli, and then he can trace that port, can he do that? Is he allowed to do that? Ooh, I don't know. There was somebody, actually, that's maybe a good place to look. There was somebody uploaded a file on BGG regarding supply, and I think I downloaded that, so give me a second. It looks like a pretty useful file, that, to be honest, and I'm sure the information that I'm needing is in there, but it's lengthy enough for me to not be able to look through it all just now. Well, I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that we can do this and leave it in the video as well, or maybe search BGG. I think there's a few things I need to look up, because I'm not sure when this video will get out there, and I might want to come back and do another bit later because I've got a bit of time. So I'm going to say that this fleet, being in the port of Benghazi, can trace supply along the transport line into Tripoli and then out the port of Tripoli and across the water to Sicily and Catania. Now, they don't incur a sortie unless they happen to be attacked. They cannot be intercepted by that move. I could have that wrong. He might not be allowed to do that, and he might have to go across there. Let's just say that if he did go across there, let's just say in this case that the British don't try and intercept, and we'll leave it at that. And that makes it easier for me. I know it's a bit of a cop-out, but hopefully I've got it right and he can do it that way. Somebody will either tell me, or will, like I say, I'm maybe going to look the question up. Pretty sure that's probably been asked before. Something like that. Okay, that's all the supply, need and trace, and then the other units, the Italian units, are all on mainland Italy, and Sicily counts as well. Well, Sicily part is joined up with mainland Italy as well. So that's everything there. Right, so I'm going to stop there though, because we're almost at an hour and 20 minutes. And yeah, so the Italians spent 3 of their production points. They've got 10 production points left. Yeah, we'll work on that later, Grant. We'll work on that later. Okay, well, some strange moves maybe there. I don't know, some of you may be scratching your head. What are you doing, Grant? But, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. We'll see what comes of this. There's not an awful lot of units to play with in this scenario anyway, so we'll see how it goes. Right, I'll stop there, and I'll be back with the Western Factions operations phase. Hopefully a bit later today. Okay, cheers.